One Question is brought to you by Turnkey Search, a top industry search firm since 1996. Drew Marrochello, AD at Boston U, is our guest today on One Question. And Drew, you've been a part of the Boston U senior leadership staff for a number of years. You were named AD in 2014. I think sometimes when we see somebody rebrand for a department or a new strategic plan, sometimes that's synonymous with a new AD who's come in from outside the department, who does their analysis and for a litany of reasons wants to point the department in a new direction. But you were native to the Terriers department. So I want you maybe to walk me through the dynamics of why the new branding campaign of who we are is a move you guys made back in May or June, and because you were native to the department, what unique aspects or understanding of the brand did you have that made you want to move forward with this step?
Sure, Matt. Be happy to. I wouldn't go so far as to call it really a rebrand. I would call it an affirmation of our brand that existed. I don't think that it is a strategic plan, although there are aspects of strategic vision that are ingrained in really our message. It's simply our guiding principles of how we see ourselves, how we want others to see us, from within our institution, from the national landscape, how we place ourselves on the national landscape, and again, how we meld and mesh with our own institution. We talked about doing a strategic plan. I think we had undertaken the exercise back in, I'd say 2006 or 7, and these things have shelf lives, and it's time to revisit and do them again. And we went through the usual exercise. Do we want to bring somebody else in as a consultant to help us guide? Because I think administrators often are great planners and great visionaries, but they sometimes need the help to stay on task when it comes to a strategic plan. And we talked about bringing somebody in. We talked about doing it ourselves. We asked ourselves, do we have time to do this? Do we have time to undertake a true strategic plan? And frankly, we also asked ourselves, is this the time to roll one out? We had undergone some staff transition, which I think is somewhat obvious when you do go through leadership changes. And we decided that it wasn't really the right time when I was named as the AD to roll out a true strategic plan. Even though the landscape had changed on campus, the landscape had changed with personnel, the landscape had clearly changed nationally, especially with our conference role or our conference affiliation. I was in a new role, although I was familiar with the institution. I also think that I benefited from going through an exercise as if I had not been here before and as if I did not know the institution. And I didn't want to just unveil something that said, here's what we're going to do from here on in. I didn't want it to be agenda-driven. And at the same time, I thought we needed to do something to collect our department and, again, to reaffirm our values and state our goals internally and then certainly to transition those and to shout those to the external community. But as I said, I don't think it was the right time to do a strategic plan. And we came up with what we term is really just a defining document for our values and philosophy. And we spent a lot of time as a senior staff, a lot of time on every word, and really I think it defines or clarifies what we expect from our student athletes and our coaches, how we think we're viewed, how we want to be viewed, what our alumni and community experience should be, what our aspirational goals are, how we fit within our institution, and how we can uphold the institutional mission, which I think is an important statement that athletics departments can make. So simply at the end of 2015, this is a full year after I had been the director of athletics, we presented our staff with a document. That's our entire coaching and staff, administrative staff, over 100 people in the department. And we said, here's what we've come up with. Here's what we think. Now it's time for you to give us some feedback. And we wanted honest feedback. I didn't want something that was going to be handed to them to say, these are the marching orders. I thought we needed to have, again, a document that was formed from one vision from a cohesive unit. We did some minor wordsmithing. There were a lot of good suggestions, but I'm really pleased that not one of the constructs was changed, and nobody came forward to say, why is that on there, or why, I disagree with this even being a focal point of what we do. And I think that what that meant to me was everybody was pretty much on the same page. And I think that after we went through that exercise, we just talked about when is the time to unveil it, and it's really a focal point for our department to make sure that everybody knows our message, to know our brand, and the 16-17 year is certainly the time that we chose to do it, and we're pretty proud of the message.
One of the execution elements that I found interesting in your all's rollout was you guys really leveraged video heavily. And each of the goals that you guys had in this reaffirmation of your brand had an accompanying video. I know you used the written word quite a bit as well, but I can't recall seeing video used as much as you guys did in the presentation of this type of strategy. So why video? And did it mean it took longer to roll it out because of the production value you wanted in those videos?
Yeah, I don't know if it delayed any sort of timeline. I think we worked pretty diligently to hit a soft timeline. And again, I don't know that there was a firm timeline that we said this has to be done. We're starting school next week, and 16-17 school year is upon us, and it's an appropriate time for it to be talked about. We started with the text in our facilities and had some pop-up banners and signage in our facilities because we wanted people to start asking questions, i.e., what's this all about? And when someone walks in from the community, it's the first thing they see in a few of our facilities, and that was by design, and that's text-driven. But you and I both know that we're really a lot of people are so email and text-driven right now that how many times do you hear that, well, the text lost its message or the tone was lost with the text, and someone says, I couldn't really tell what you meant when you sent me that email, and everybody's accused of that. It's the latest form of miscommunication. And I think that not only is our video department wonderful, I'm really proud of the work that they do, but video brings the message to life. And people have a harder time on these videos saying, I really didn't know what you meant by that. I don't think anything is lost in the translation. I think it shows the emotion of who we are. I don't think that the emotion comes through on a text, on an email or a text-based production. I think it comes through in live time and as kind of reality when it's video based. This was not staged. That's one of the things that I really like about this. Leo Perret, our director of marketing, essentially said, go. He brought us into the studio and read a passage, showed a video, and it was kind of a word association game, what comes to mind, and go. And there was very little editing. Certainly there were a couple of takes to say, you just said this well, and I think you can say it better, or you slipped up or something there, but it wasn't a stage production. It was an organic, heartfelt response that came out. And I think what you see, at least what I hope you see, and what I see when I watch this, is you see the commitment and the passion that our coaches and staff have for our students and our institution. And I go back to when I was coaching football a long time ago. I was a young football coach, and I said to a guy who was the best recruiter on our staff, what makes you such a great recruiter? And he, without batting an eye, very quickly said, if I believe in the product, I can sell it. And I think that comes out in this video, is that our coaches really believe in the product and really believe in the institutional mission. And they carry out that mission on a day-to-day basis and perpetuate that mission. And I think that comes out in the video element.
Yeah, and for those who haven't seen it, and I'll be sure to link it in the write-up or preview of this one question conversation, or for those who saw it months ago, I mean, you guys talked to a wide swath of leadership within the department from, in many cases, in my view, folks you wouldn't normally see on camera from an athletic department to really tell the story at BU.
Well, we've got a wide array of good professionals, and I think it, again, tells the story, but it tells an honest story, because it's not your most visible coach or an administrator that everybody knows. It's simply the message that I think everybody's carrying out.
And that's today's one question, brought to you by Turnkey Search, a top industry search firm since 1996. One Question is designed to give D1 Ticker subscribers valuable insights on how executive leaders in college athletics think about key issues on their respective campuses, in their departments, or within their leagues and conferences. One Question is brought to you by Turnkey Search, a top industry search firm since 1996.